Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is my review of The Predator from last year. So I started getting into the Scott Adkins movies, and then I noticed he always works with this guy named Isaac Florentine. So I asked people about him, and somebody recommended this channel Rossitron, who has an interview with Isaac Florentine. I mean, it's a good basic interview. It's like 10 minutes long. But then I started looking at the other videos on that channel, and it's really good stuff. So they have one, I think it was on Rossitron, it might have been on a different one, called The Predator is, an example of the worst of current movies, something like that. And so I listened to it, and then I go, whatever, I'll make that my next review. So I go to, you check Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. It's not there for free. So I go to buy it on Amazon Prime Video, $19.99. Like, you can't rent it, you got to buy it. I was like, what the hell? That's more than me seeing it in the theaters. Like, then I go to YouTube, and I prefer to buy things on Amazon Prime Video. I just like their app more. But $19.99 on YouTube. I'm like, what the hell? My buddy's like, what's going on? I was like, they want me to pay $20 to watch The Predator. Like, it's gotten terrible reviews. It came out a year ago. He's like, oh, I bought it, So he let me log into his Amazon Prime Video. By the way, he's got great stuff. He's got Titans and all the DC animated movies. He's like a retired guy, so he just whatever. Let's buy this. I was like, you've got like $1,000 worth of movies and TV shows you bought. And he's like, oh, no, it's way more than that. I was like, all right, cool. Found a treasure trove. So I sat down late, like started at like 12:30 a.m. and poured myself a whiskey, and I finished the movie about 5:30, stopping at basically every 2 to 3 minutes to yell to my buddy, this movie's awesome. And he's like, yeah, I know, I've watched it like 7 times. I go, why do people say this movie is terrible? This movie's awesome. Now you might say, you were drinking whiskey, but bad movies are still bad when you're drinking whiskey. Like, I'm not drinking whiskey right now, and I'm remembering it quite clearly. By the way, I dialed in my whiskey drinking for several months. I drink like a couple times a month. I was able to. It was consistent effect that I wanted to get. And then, like, for the last couple times, I was just screwing it up. Like, I don't know what I'm screwing up. Like, I'm not having fun. I'm just going to the bathroom a lot. I'm not getting drunk. I'm not buzzing. It's like, it's not fun. It's not funny. It's not fun. And then I realized I was putting way too much ice. So the ice made me put less booze in, and then it watered down the booze. So I was just basically drinking a bunch of ice and Mountain Dew. But I put a little bit of ice. I got nicely drunk pretty quickly. Stayed a nice level. Didn't spill anything. I'm a very considerate drinker. Wash my glass when I'm done. The only weird thing I did is I locked my door for some reason. I have no idea. I never lock my door. I woke up, I tried to, my door was locked. I don't know. So anyway, I'm a creator. I create life, and pay child support. I make comic books. So I've got to see, reading them for 30 years and then making them and seeing the reaction. And reactions are sometimes very surprising. One of probably the most frustrating things is when you do something on purpose and it's misinterpreted as a flaw. I had a book called Iron Sights, which was supposed to be like a really grimy, crime thriller. So I specifically wanted a cheap-looking book. The aesthetic was supposed to be that you found the book like on the ground in a bar bathroom. So then people would complain, it's like, this was cheap. It's like, that's how I sold it. I literally said in my, my promotional videos, what I just said right now about the bar bathroom, like, you found this thing on the ground. I've had, this has been a consistent thing. Things I've done on purpose are misinterpreted as mistakes that I didn't, a mistake is something you didn't want to do or you tried and you failed. It's not that I was just literally trying for something else. So being nice and relaxed and very happily drunk, just petting a dog and watching a movie, I felt like I knew where Shane Black, the writer director of this movie, and he was I believe a co-writer of the first one, I believe I know what he was trying to do, and I think it was a complete success. It wasn't supposed to be a movie that you review, and it's not supposed to be a movie that you take seriously. It's a movie meant to see with friends, probably drunk, and you're supposed to laugh at most of it. People were saying there's too much comedy, and I think in Shane Black's mind, this whole movie was essentially a comedy. It was a comedy with a couple of little bit of kind of exciting action bits, but mainly a comedy. It was also a hangout movie. It was supposed to be a bunch of guys and a hot chick that you would want to, go to a party with, go to the lake with, just go to any, social event with. So you got the boys, which they're called the loonies. It's all these, military vets. They're in some sort of, not like, I don't know, it was kind of vague. They didn't seem that crazy, honestly, except for one of them, but he wasn't crazy, he just had Tourette's. But then they're like, he burned 6 Marines alive or something like that. You're like, he seems like a pretty chill guy besides that. But they hired a bunch of character actors that you know and like. So they got Key and Peele. I always forget which one is called Key and Peele, so I just called them both Key and Peele. They got Key and Peele. They got Thomas Jane with an awesome hairpiece toupee, or hair system, as they used to say on commercials in the 19... Really? Parking a giant parking lot. There's like one spot next to me, and some dude almost pulled in before I gave him the look. Like, dude, I'm sure you were gonna buy drugs or something. I'm not the guy you had arranged to buy drugs from. I'm just recording the YouTube video. Chill out. Oh, he drove away really quickly. So, it's a bunch of like cool guys, vaguely 30 to 50-ish. You know what I mean? You can't really tell anyone's age. Some of them are convincing as vets. Thomas Jane is convincing as a vet. Key and Peele absolutely is not convincing as a vet. But you're not supposed to see him as a vet. You're supposed to see him as Key and Peele and go, oh. I know his name is Keegan Michael Key. I'm just being funny. You're supposed to go, oh, I like Key and Peele. And then he just says a joke, he shoots a gun. You're like, oh, this is fun. I feel like I'm hanging out with Thomas Jane, who's like, that's what it is. Another crucial thing to the success of this movie for me was Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn, to me, is probably the most beautiful actress alive today. She does a good job. Her character is not as stupid as every review makes it sound. Because, stupid is kind of relative, and she's kind of the most serious. I don't know if I call her the most capable. At one point, she grabs a gun. You're like, oh, God, is this going to be the one where the 110-pound girl can outfight like all... Oh, no, she shot herself in the foot with a tranq dart. She's pretty effective, fairly serious, very sexy. Good. She just... Every time she was on the screen, I was happy. The story is... I don't know. And I'm not even going to blame that on being drunk. The story is... Well... A couple things. Number one, you can tell they shot a lot more footage than was used in the movie. At some point, things move at such a breakneck pace, it's insane. You can tell probably the studio is like, it's 10 minutes before somebody talks. It's 15 minutes before someone shoots a gun. So I remember trying to watch this on a flight like once or twice and hating it and giving up in like the first 5 minutes. And it was because things move so quickly at the beginning, it almost seems like it's insulting. Like, you get a shot, there's 2 ships, and they're shooting. Oh, and like the second shot damages one ship, it crashes to Earth, and then there's like a special forces sniper on a mission, and then it crashes like, not near him, and he goes to investigate, but like, it would have hit him. Right on his head. Like, I was like, come on. The other thing that was missing watching it on the... watching it on a phone, on an airplane without earbuds, just reading the captions, is I didn't hear the music. And the music is very, very crucial in telling you, what is the tone of this movie? Am I supposed to take this seriously? Is it scary? And no, like the music was just like generic, like fun. It was like bum 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 bum. It was like almost like Raiders of the Lost Ark music. It was like, we're having fun. Don't take this seriously. It's just a dopey movie. So you got a predator, a nice predator, a helper predator. Remember that thing? Look for the helpers. When you get in trouble, look for the helpers. Police, fireman. Look for the helper, aliens, predators. So it turns out that all of the, or several of the predators we've seen in the previous movies were actually trying to help us. Because there's mean predators. I don't know if that made sense if you're sober. This is a movie that, so, especially in movies where you have like the team of guys against the other team of guys, I tend to get lost really quickly. Like all of a sudden I'll be like, where's that character? Like, oh, that person got karate kicked down a well. I was like, I've seen this movie 50 times and I don't remember that. I just know at some point, Gary Daniels is no longer in the first Expendables movie. I've seen that movie 50 times and I still cannot tell you how he dies. I know how Stone Cold Steve Austin dies, but Gary Daniels is in it and then he's just suddenly not. But I don't know if this movie was very clearly shot and cut so that everything was understandable where everyone was, and all the plot switches and twists and things like that, or just whiskey and Mountain Dew is like the liquid version of the drug from that Bradley Cooper movie Limitless. But I was never lost for 1 second, and I kept thinking, if I were to look at this whole movie as if it was like a serious movie meant to be reviewed and thought about, I probably could find reasons to not enjoy it. But Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane, they both shot each other at the same time to put each other out of their misery because they're boys. Although one killed the other one's buddies, but then they became friends, kind of like in a Stockholm Syndrome way, something like that. So they're both like, Thomas Jane is stabbed through the chest with a tree branch, and then Keegan-Michael Key's just had his guts, blown out by like a plasma blast. So they take out their pistols. They're like 60, 70 meters away from each other. And they both shoot each other at the same time in the head to put each other out of their misery. That makes no sense on so many different levels. But I was like, oh, they boys. Like, I was enjoying all of the moments of that, and I think that's what it was meant for. It was meant for, you're at a party, it's on, it's a good party, everyone's buzzing, it's fun. There's some cute chicks there. Hey, the Predator. Oh shit, they just shot each other. Did you see that? Yeah, and then you just go on and you talk about something else. And then when you see three people jump onto a spaceship at the end, you go, whoa. And you're not supposed to like take it really seriously or anything at all. It's meant to be a hangout movie where you're hanging out with your friends, and then the people in the movie kind of remind you about friends that you would hang out with, and every scene is just kind of something to look at. Oh, that looks cool. Olivia Munn looks hot. Oh, that soldier's outfit looks cool. Oh, that gun's cool. Oh, well, look at that special effects. That guy just got chopped in half by a force field. Cool. So I freaking loved it. My buddy said straight up he's watched it like half a dozen times. Would I watch it half a dozen times? Probably not. But I would watch it again, no problem. Although I probably wouldn't watch it. I would have it on while doing something else. And I think if you watch it in the way that it was intended. Now, that being said, it's absolutely legitimate if you really like that franchise and you're like, oh, I wanted something more serious like the other ones. And it's like, they didn't want that. There should have been like a warning level. This is a comedy. It's a freaking comedy. It's like a brightly lit comedy. Sometimes it feels like it's like an episode of Saved by the Bell. It's so brightly lit. But anyway, thanks for watching. And I don't know. I don't know. Could be anything. I started watching this movie with Michael Jai White and the guy from The Raid and Scott Adkins. They're like soldiers or mercs. It's not a Close Range. No, Triple Threat. People said Triple Threat was amazing. I'm like 15 minutes in. It's really not very good. I'll finish it. I don't know if I'll do a video on it. Thanks for watching. Bye.